And joining us now to, well, break down what maybe can't be broken down because it all broke down in Edmonton. Alan May, an Edmonton boy in his own right, joins us. Alan, how would you describe what went down in Edmonton in Game 4?
Well, they went back to how they started this series, and it's channeling 80s and 90s NHL hockey, and I kind of love it. There's a lot of broken plays, a lot of great, beautiful plays in all of this at the same time, and the best offensive players in the game are rising up to the occasion and scoring fantastic goals and making highlight reel plays all game long. So I'm not a guy that wants to watch a 1-0 game every night. I love goals, and I love physical hockey, and I love it fast-paced. And it's a coach's nightmare. And, now that the teams have, it seems like 5, 6, 7, and 8 guys on the bench, extra coaches. They got 2 goalie coaches, a goalie advisor. They don't like these types of games. I love them, and I think it's great for the sport, and I think it's great for the hockey fan all throughout North America, everywhere that loves the NHL. The more goals we have, the better it is.
What did we learn about the Edmonton Oilers and the Colorado Avalanche through a series that only went the minimum, 4 games?
Well, the biggest thing when you look at the Colorado Avalanche is that they've done a great job of building their team, and their trades this season, they made key acquisitions. So they have so much depth. They've already, the last few years, retooling, and it's not so easy. They've gone in a lot like the Washington Capitals and the New York Rangers and the Boston Bruins at times, where they've been anointed the Stanley Cup champion. Don't let me forget the Toronto Maple Leafs, who seem like they're, destined to win the Stanley Cup every season. There's a lot of things that go into making it, but you have to have depth on your roster. You're going to need luck. You're going to need to be injury-free, excellent goaltending, the right coaching staff, you name it. But when I look at the Colorado Avalanche, they had Kadri's going to be out for the rest of the series, but they've got guys stepping in and stepping up, and players that haven't been in the lineup, and they come in and they don't look out of place. And yet then you make some trades. You go back to the key trades that they made. Arturi Lehkonen was made around the trade deadline. He had 3 points tonight. He's at 11 points so far in the playoffs, 6 goals in 14 games. He's been fantastic. And trades like that, a no-name guy, more or less, that, the people in Montreal know, but no one else really knows. And this guy goes out and gets it done tonight. He was fantastic.
Yeah, well, now he's legendary in Colorado, scoring the overtime game winner to clinch the advancement to the Stanley Cup final. But more than that, you also need your big players to come up big. And Colorado did it. We saw goals from Nathan MacKinnon, Gabriel Landeskog getting on the board. But also on the other side, it's not like Edmonton stars shied away from it. Connor McDavid on the board, that power play from Edmonton. The game just seemed to have it all. It's almost a shame we're not going to get another game between these two teams.
Well, these are the series that you definitely want 7 games, and you want to set goal-scoring records. I don't know if they'll be able to do that. I grew up watching the Oilers play the Flames, and the Oilers play the Jets, and the Oilers play everyone, and there was always a lot of goals with Gretzky and company. But when you look at the guys that came out tonight, and this has been like Cale Makar playoffs, I think right now he's the leading contender for myself to say he's the most valuable player in the playoffs. He starts it off with a beautiful wrist shot to get the ball rolling in this game. And then you have, it took McKinnon a little while longer than usual tonight to really get his freight train rolling. But Landeskog, he brings it every game. Mikko Rantanen, they're big game guys. They came and they did a number. So they play an all-round game. When you think of the Avalanche, one of the things that their top guys do, they play forwards, they play backwards, they play physical. They sacrifice the body. They do everything. They've been on the cusp, and they thought they were going to win the Stanley Cup a few times. They learned some valuable lessons. You got to put the body on the line. There's got to be physical sacrifice. So I just love what I saw to both of these rosters. And when you take the Edmonton roster, they don't have enough yet. That they're using a group of defensemen that they're picking pieces from here and there. They've got to grow some more of their own players. They've got the greatest offensive player in the game right now, in Connor McDavid, and a courageous effort throughout these playoffs by Leon Draisaitl, who apparently has been battling a high ankle sprain. And that is one of the worst injuries you can have in hockey. And, anything that you have wrong with your lower body really affects your game. And Draisaitl, basically he was relegated to just shooting the puck. He wasn't skating around players. He wasn't able to battle on the board. So, the big players in this series, they earned their money. They showed why they are the stars on both of these teams. And then you had other guys step up like Lehkonen and make a name for themselves. So a lot of great things happened in this series. Just too bad it couldn't have went 7.
Well, look, Colorado now has the trophy they want no part of touching. They can't wait to get their hands on the other one and lift it high over their heads. What do the Avs have that either the Rangers or the Lightning don't that gives them confidence against either of the teams that may come out of the East?
What I really like about the Avalanche is their size. You know, their guys can get around the ice. They're fast. Like McKinnon, he does not look human when he's on the ice. When you're in an arena, whether you're in the press box or in the stands, McKinnon is large. You know, he is just doesn't look like a real hockey player out there. You know, he's explosive, he's fast, he's huge. And then Landeskog, there's another guy. He plays a big game. He's physical. It's a two-way game. And he provides key offense, and he's the guy that gets them going at all times. And then Mikko Rantanen, for my money, is probably the best all-round winger in the game. And because he plays in Colorado, he doesn't get the accolades that he deserves. And he's always doing great things. He gets their team going physically. He sacrifices. He sells out. He does what he has to do to help this team win. So when I look at what they have size that can skate, that can compete, and they can play any type of game. And then you go back, I really like what they've done with their defensemen. I thought last year the Avalanche were hurt by not having Eric Johnson on the ice. This year they have him, and they've made a key trade, another guy near the deadline, at the deadline, in Josh Manson, who scored some big goals, but more importantly, has provided key physicality, a defensive smarts, so willing to, once again, sacrifice his body to make big plays. So I love the depth of the Avalanche, and I think that's where they have it. They've got a great group of defensemen, their six-man unit, and then their top forwards are big and they can move.
Colorado Avalanche advanced to the Stanley Cup final for the first time in 2001, sweeping the Edmonton Oilers, winning Game 4 in an overtime shootout thriller. Alan May, thank you very much, Alan.
Take care, Russ.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.